Wenatchee is gorgeous in the spring with its lush green rolling hills, abundant wildflowers everywhere, and the views of the Columbia River. The local food scene offers an abundant selection of authentic international cuisines featuring the unique farm-fresh ingredients of the region. Wenatchee is also home to award-winning wines, handcrafted hard ciders, and a talented handful of local brewers producing fine craft beers. Visit Wenatchee, the heart of Washington State.
New on Curiosity Stream. Deformed trees, mutated wildlife, and no humans for miles. 10 years after the disaster at Fukushima, see what this irradiated ecosystem can teach us about nuclear fallout on Radioactive Forest. Plus, looking for the most diverse marine life on the planet? Dive into the Coral Triangle and experience a frenzy of wildlife you've got to see to believe on nature's greatest secret. It's all on Curiosity Stream. Annual plans are $20, just $1.67 a month. Visit curiositystream.com.
Hey, this is Dean Shelton, Vice President with the Washington State Council of Firefighters. Just wanted to wish KISW a happy 50th anniversary. 50 years of rocking Seattle and the greater Puget Sound. We also want to take a moment to say thank you for our partnership with Operation Warm and putting warm coats on kids. Thanks, KISW. Here's to another 50 years of rocking all of us.
Yeah, thank you, Dean. Celebrating 50 years of The Rock. Our 50th anniversary, and it's all weekend, by the way. Well, I mean, we're kicking it off today, but it's an entire 50th anniversary weekend brought to you by Palace Law. Make sure you head to the Rock Shop at KISW.com because that is where we've got new KISW 50th merch. A lot of T-shirts, hoodies, beanies, trucker hats. I mean, you can rock out 50 style, and these are sweet. This is sweet looking merch.
All of us are rocking them right now.
Yeah, loving it, man. With the Rock logo in gold, because 50th is the gold anniversary.
That's right.
Gotta love that.
BJ, it wouldn't be right to celebrate the 50th anniversary of KSW without talking to our good friend, a man that's done so many fun things with us on The Rock. Even before we were on The Rock, doing stuff with Bob Rivers, it's our friend Craig Gass.
Oh, Craig. I mean, really, you can't have a 50th anniversary and not talk to Craig Gass.
That's very kind of you. I owe KISW everything for being able to make a living. I've been doing stand-up comedy. I've been paying my bills and my mom's bills for over 20 years now, and if it wasn't for KISW, I would have never gotten to this spot.
It's a pretty amazing story that you have because you've been on a lot of radio shows, but I believe KISW was the first one you ever were on. Is that correct?
Yeah, with Bob Rivers, Twisted Radio was the morning show. I remember driving into Seattle. I wanted to move to Seattle. I was living at the time in a small town, Tucson, Arizona. So me and a bunch of friends packed a U-Haul. We drove to Seattle, and several days in this U-Haul, we didn't have any radio reception because you're going through small towns. We're driving through the deserts of Nevada and then the middle of nowhere in Idaho and Oregon. And once we were about an hour away from Seattle, I said, oh, man, put the radio on and see if we can find something. So we're going through the FM dial, and then we heard a guitar riff that I was like, oh, right there. And it was a classic guitar riff. And then the vocals kicked in, and I heard inflatable woman, and I went, inflatable woman. I was like, wait, what? And I mean, it was the song, but it wasn't the song. I just remember hearing the vocals going, "You can always get laid, hey, inflatable woman," and I was like, and we all just looked at each other like, what the hell was that? And at the end of the song, there was a bumper that said, Twisted Tunes on KISW. And I was like, Twisted Tunes? What? And all right, let's keep it there. I need to know what that is. And every song they played was like music that I listened to. I figured out it was KISW. And then I listened to them religiously around the clock. And I prank called Bob Rivers one day as Sam Kinison. And he said, hey, can you come in and we'd love to use some of your voices. And then that's where it started.
The thing about Bob just is always a person that recognizes talent and puts them in the spotlight. He's done that for me in my life, and obviously he did that for you. I also thought, since you brought up Inflatable Woman, Craig, that you said something really nice on Facebook. For the last year, you were doing a lot of great, hey, man, these are some people that are important to me in my life. And you called Spike O'Neill, perhaps one of the best talents you've ever seen in our industry. And, of course, he's the voice of many, many twisted tunes, including that one. I thought that was really kind, really, really awesome.
Well, what I said specifically, and I've been saying this my whole life, Spike O'Neill is the quickest, fastest, funniest guy I've ever been around. And I have been around every single comedian you can name. I've never met anybody funnier or quicker. And the crazy thing is, right before I left, BJ is doing talk radio and has become a really popular talk radio guy. Steve is actually getting national attention for things that he's created, for opportunities he's created on the air at another station. Mm-hmm. And I leave, and then you guys come together at KISW and make it even stronger. That was bananas. That was bananas to me. That other people were making waves similar to KISW, and KISW just went and just took you guys.
We're going to take those guys.
Yeah, and paired you up at the
What's crazy for you, like getting your start with Bob Rivers, then the next morning show was Howard Stern, a huge part of Howard Stern's show.
We're sorry you had to go from Howard to us. We realized that, you know what, that might have, that's that stock market part of your career where you go, but no, it gets better.
Right.
Well, and that's the crazy thing, because the station influences me. I want to be a part of KISW, and then I start making tapes at KISW. Somebody, a guy who used to work there, Brad Cash, helped me make tapes of what I was doing at the station. I sent it to Howard, and Howard, I overnighted it to Howard. His producer called the next day. Hey, it's Gary Delabate. Listen, so I got this tape. And what's KISW? And you know what's crazy? When I first started working at Howard, when they first had me sit next to Howard, I remember mentioning once that I used to work at KISW. Gary referred to him as, oh, Bobby Rivers. Yeah, Bobby Rivers. I know Bobby Rivers. He referred to him as Bobby. I guess Bob used to go by Bobby before he went by Bob.
Oh, wow.
So KISW gives me my start. KISW gives me the opportunity to go to Howard Stern. And then on a personal level, the one thing that was killing me and destroying me was I had a drug habit that I couldn't get around. And I was just kind of pretending like it wasn't there, even though it was affecting my life. And Steve is the guy who called me out. You need a friend. You need a friend who cuts through the BS and says, dude, this is not cool. You have a problem. I'm hearing honesty help me wake up and save my own life. So, yeah, there's a lot going on at that building and in that room that has affected my life personally.
Craig, I know you have a ton of stories. Unfortunately, we don't have a lot of time, but maybe as we talk to you later in the year or so, we will get more stories, because we're going to be celebrating all year long, and you have been a great friend to this station, a great friend to us.
I feel grateful to be a part of it. I really do. And you guys have helped me out personally and professionally. I just love having this relationship with the station. So thank you.
My pleasure, buddy. Thank you for being with us. Love you, brother.
Thank you.
99.9 KISW. It is the 50th anniversary celebration. We're doing it all weekend long, and we're talking to different personalities that have been on the radio station, different members of management, of course, a lot of luminaries that guest starred with us, and we're talking to you at 206-421-ROCK. Text us at 77999. Gary and Squim, you are on the Rock.
Good morning, BJ and Steve. It's an honor to be on this morning.
What's up? Thanks, Gary. So 50 years, man. What is it about the 50 years that you go, yeah, this is what I really loved?
So set the stage here. 1973, I was still living in Renton. My brother was in a small rock cover band called Borrowed Time, and I used to hang out, watch them practice in the basement, and they would tape songs from KISW, to practice to and learn riffs and learn the songs and, hone their craft and that. And that's how I was exposed to KISW, them, playing like, the Doors, the Stones, Zeppelin. Yeah. It was just, and then that, it was a different time then too, obviously, it was like, yeah, that was Jethro Tull.
Gary, you're in my demographic. You're absolutely right. So the 70s and where we are now, it's pretty wild what life is now, what it was then. Yeah,
he was GIAC, reel-to-reel player, and watching him have to set that up. I don't know if you have used a reel-to-reel player and being in radio early on in that, but it's not the easiest to set up quickly.
No, it's not. And Gary, you're absolutely right. I used to have, and Steve, I think you did too, where in order to make editing, there was no digital. You had to use a razor blade and cut that stuff, and I was never any good at that.
That was when I first started. That's how we had to edit everything, and it was such a colossal pain in the ass, because if you edited it wrong, you got to go through the trash and hope that you can find that little clip of what you just edited improperly, and then you just had like this taped up mess that you were hoping wouldn't fall apart when you played it on the air. Just insane, and the different people that could do it, the production people that could, especially if they were doing 8-track editing. Oh my God, they were something. 206-421-ROCK. You can text us at 77999. Jeremy in Seattle, you are on the Rock.
BJ Shea.
You know what? Today I think we all care. It's the 50th anniversary.
Fine, we kind of care.
We all care today.
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit. Jeremy, how about you, man? 50 years we've been celebrating. You got any good memories?
Well, I got a couple of them. First one is years back, you announced that you were going to be up at Big Poppy's Pizza watching the Red Sox versus the Yankees game.
Oh, yes. That was a fun time. That's when I got my jaywalking. I almost got my jaywalking ticket.
Right. And it was you and Joey D's that were there, and my buddy Chuck and I decided to go down, and we were the only two people that showed up.
Yeah, not a lot of call for Red Sox-Yankee games in Seattle as far as people wanting to clamor for those games, yeah. But Big Poppy's was delicious pizza.
But yeah, just sitting there and eating pizza with you and just hanging out as like four guys was really cool. My second memory is the first time I ever met Taryn Daly.
Oh.
And we were at the Red Festival when it was still at the brewery. And I'm sitting there, and I introduced myself, and I'm talking to her, and a buddy of mine who had been drinking way heavily is standing behind me, and he ends up spewing up against my back. And the foam goes over my shoulders. Terrence looks at me and winces, and I'm just like, well, that just happened, and I just kept talking to her, and then we finished up, and it's like nothing I could do at that point, but just many memories with everybody at this station has been great. And past and present members. I can't wait for Pain in the Grass again and Red Festival and all the other events.
Yeah, it'll be good once we all get up, we get herded into the immunity situation. That would be fantastic. And lots of love to Taryn, lots of love to Danny V, and all the other people that are responsible for today. A lot of people have busted their asses to make today possible.
And shout out to Taryn. She's getting married tomorrow. Thanks to someone who joined us on air this morning. Joel McHale's going to marry her over at the Space Needle.
Yeah, that's insanity. She won a contest, and her longtime partner, Brad, are getting married. And we didn't think it would ever happen.
That's right. Congratulations in advance.
Yeah, congratulations indeed. And you know what? I think it's time. I mean, we've been talking about this guy. I think it's finally time to talk to this guy.
BJ couldn't be happier to have this next guest on the zone that we all love. Rock 10 years here on KISW with Bob Rivers. It is Spike O'Neill.
Spike, it is so bizarre to think that when we first met each other, I eventually would be working on the same great station that you did. And so I know you've got amazing stories, and that's why we got you on.
We were blessed. We landed at the Rock in the summer of '89. I'll never forget my first week in town. Damon Stewart was the new music guru at the Rock at the time. Damon's roommate, Damon said to me, my first week in town, come out, let's go out and do something. You're in an apartment with Bob. Come see my roommate's band. So we go down to the place called the Central in Pioneer Square to see Damon's roommate and his band. Damon's roommate was Lane Staley.
Wow.
So I got to see Alice at the Central, like my fourth or fifth day in town. At that point, it wasn't quite, Love Bone was still going. Andrew hadn't passed yet. Soundgarden was playing clubs. And
what was your initial reaction and impression of Alice in Chains when you first heard them?
I fell in love with Jerry's voice. The way Jerry sings. I don't want to post, more to Alice because I love what they're doing now. Hearing Jerry work with Lane vocally, to me, just that set the hook for me. Alice, of all the bands in Seattle, Alice is still my band. I started saying this because we landed here in '89, and then Seattle became the center of the musical universe. I mean, I used to tell people it was like it must have been what being in San Francisco in 1966 felt like. Or being in London at that time felt like. We were the center of the universe. Everywhere you turned, there was somebody amazing.
Here you're seeing guys that have become your peers. Let's fast forward 25 years later. Now they're getting inducted into the Hall of Fame. That had to be a trip for you to see your friends now considered immortal when it comes to the world of music.
It is surreal to see how many people they've touched, You know, when you watch, you go to a festival or something and you see 50,000 people just in love with these guys that you used to, you know, I remember picking Eddie up one day and having to take him to the station in my 66 Volkswagen Beetle that we had to push start together, and seeing this guy on stage, you know, in front of the multitude. I mean, the hair on my arms is standing up right now. I still get that way. You know, just mind blowing. We were blessed to be here, man. I thank God every day of my life that Bob Rivers let me in the front door and then grabbed my suitcase with his and shared an apartment for a month till I found my own place.
Talk about serendipity of all the places he picks. Like he went to, because Bob is an amazingly talented radio professional that could have worked anywhere, and he picked Seattle, loving the place, not realizing that if you want to work at a rock station, that was the place to go and work at a rock station at that time in history. Well, I mean, talk about serendipity.
Well, one of the things that I think we were very lucky to have an audience for as long as we did, and I think it's because I would define our show as inclusive. We were never mean. We were never too blue for anybody. We were a horrible fit for a rock station. First of all, we were three guys who were afraid of our wives and devoted to our kids. You know, that defined who Bob, Joe, and I were.
Well, Spike, thank you so much. Thank you so much, first of all, for contributing to the great history that this station has, because you guys were a huge part of it. And obviously, thank you for spending time with us today as we celebrate the 50th anniversary of KISW. You and the boys were a big, big part of it. And much love to you, brother, as a friend, as a radio professional, and as a guy that got to be here at a special time, which I will always be jealous of.
My pleasure. And I want to say to you, too, and your whole team, I want to say thank you, because it's weird. We pass through stations and places in our life, I will always, KISW was the first job I ever had. And it was really the only job I ever had that really mattered. And I don't say mattered, because I love my time at KZOK and whatever, you know, I mean, doing a show with Bob and Joe was magic, but The Rock it changed my life. It made me who I am. It gave me everything I have. And you see stations that change and evolve and devolve over time, and you see clam dips land in the chair that have no appreciation or respect for where they are or what they've been given the opportunity to talk to the audience through 99.9. You know, but you guys get it. You guys have always got it. You guys have done that station so proud, and you've treated it with so much love and so much passion and so much talent. And I'm not just trying to I'm not just job auditioning for whenever the Rev gets sick, I want his job. And I don't mean that. I wish the Rev, although I never shave. Don't never let him shave again, by the way. Jesus. Now, you guys have really under your care, in your hands. That station is everything it should be.
It means a lot coming from you, Spike. Those are beautiful, beautiful words. Thank you. Man. Dear friend, I've known Spike a lot longer than I've worked here, really. And just like Craig said earlier, a great talent, a great human being. Just love that
and
dude.
A beard shamer for the Rev.
Well, I mean, Spike knows beards. Man.
Yeah.
Look at him. Come on. He knows what he's talking about. We are celebrating 50 years of KISW all weekend. Yeah, that's why we're calling it the KISW 50th Anniversary Weekend.
BJ and Migs, mornings on The Rock, 99.9 KISW.
Wenatchee is gorgeous in the spring with its lush green rolling hills, abundant wildflowers everywhere, and the views of the Columbia River. The local food scene offers an abundant selection of authentic international cuisines featuring the unique farm-fresh ingredients of the region. Wenatchee is also home to award-winning wines, handcrafted hard ciders, and a talented handful of local brewers producing fine craft beers. Visit Wenatchee, the heart of Washington State.
$20 million, $19 million, $6 million. These are all awards recovered for clients of Phillips Law Firm. To win big, you have to fight big. And Phillips Law has been fighting the too-big-to-fail insurance industry for decades. Not every case will have a multi-million-dollar outcome, but Phillips Law will fight just as hard to recover the outcome you deserve. If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident or on the job, call or click today at 1-800-JUSTICE or visit justiceforyou.com.
New on Curiosity Stream. deformed trees, mutated wildlife, and no humans for miles. 10 years after the disaster at Fukushima, see what this irradiated ecosystem can teach us about nuclear fallout on Radioactive Forest. Plus, looking for the most diverse marine life on the planet? Dive into the Coral Triangle and experience a frenzy of wildlife you've got to see to believe on Nature's Greatest Secret. It's all on CuriosityStream. Annual plans are $20, just $1.67 a month. Visit CuriosityStream.com.
99.9 KISW, celebrating 50 years of The Rock. Yep, it's our 50th anniversary weekend, brought to you by Palace Law. And if you love the Rock logo, you will love your name in the font of the Rock logo with our KISW logo generator. Get it at KISW.com.
BJ, very excited, celebrating our 50th anniversary on KISW. Not us, the KISW celebrating their 50th anniversary, but always great to have this guest on. He's our absolute favorite guy to talk to, and it's Joe Coy from Tacoma, Washington, originally. Joe.
Go.
Yes.
I mean, Joe, really, you grew up in the area, so we thought, man, this station probably meant a lot to you as we're celebrating number 50.
I think the first thing I said to you guys when I met you is I got to have that shirt.
Yeah.
It was a legendary shirt when I was a kid. When I was junior high school, everyone had that Rock shirt on. So I was like, I got to have that shirt. So it's a staple with me. I love you guys, and congrats, man. Let's do 50 more.
It is amazing, Joe, for anything to last 50 years, especially in the world of media with the way things are, man. Things just come and go so quickly. You know that about the business you're in. 50 years. I don't know how they did it, but I'm glad they did it, and I'm glad that we're a part of it. And you are a part of it, too, because it's guys like you that, that are from here, that have so much love for here. Yes. And you do. I mean, you really have so much love for this area.
I really do. The people are always nice to me. It's just, some of my biggest crowds were Seattle, Washington. So it's like my first sold out crowd was what is it? Oh my God, now I'm lost right now.
Was it Bellevue? Yeah, it was Bellevue. Yeah,
Bellevue was my first sold out crowd. So I don't know the way my hometown has embraced me, and I can never get enough. And look, I mean, my sports, all my teams, it's just. I bleed blue. I bleed green. I bleed Mariner blue. That's just me.
Yeah, I see on the back. Yeah, you have a Sean Kemp jersey rocking.
Awesome.
Is that a game worn, or what's the story behind that? You got it framed. It's looking nice.
It's a signed one right there. Yeah. Come on, man.
Wow, signed one to boot.
Not a big deal.
Yeah.
Not a big deal.
Wow.
So I don't know if you're much of a hockey fan. Are you excited about the fact that we're going to have a hockey team here in Seattle as well?
I'm excited for anything professional to come to Seattle and get we just got to hope these damn arenas open up.
I love the fact that, Joe, that you love anything professional coming to Seattle, and yet you still talk to us.
This is the best moment on Zoom history. Just three different decades of bald in 3 frames.
That's what happens when you get to 50.
It's like the stages. It's the stages of baldness. Yeah. I'm 10 years away from BJ.
Yeah. So
who's going to get there first? You or me? I'm a little worried.
I'm the ghost of Christmas future because I'm still 10 years older than KISW. You're about what? You and Steve are close to that age, or Steve's maybe like at the 40th anniversary. So you're right. We've got all 3 covered.
Yeah. If I look at Steve, I'm looking at my past. Yeah. And if I'm looking at BJ, I'm looking at my future.
I'm so sorry for this.
This is beautiful.
I am so sorry for this.
Beautiful and troubling.
Yeah. Yes. This is where you're supposed to wake up, find Tiny Tim, and tell him you're really sorry about the way you treated him.
Yeah, and apologize big time.
Well, then you'll appreciate this. I just was a sucker for one of those Facebook targeted ads, and I dropped $100 on one of those skull shaver things, and it's never been a better purchase in my life.
Oh, really? I will not buy that because I feel like it's going to shave my head like a carrot. I feel like it's just going to peel a thin layer of skin.
Hasn't happened yet.
Oh, that's awesome.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to laser off the hair.
And I'm going to get the tattoo with the little dots on your head so it looks like you have have you seen that?
Oh, that's so bad. Oh, I saw that. I was like, what are you doing? I go, bro, did you tattoo hair?
Yes.
And we're talking to Joe Coy. Joe, I mean, because of the way comedy is with COVID and everything, I mean, we're so used to seeing you a lot during the year. We haven't been able to. So what have you been doing? How have you been doing?
You know what's crazy is right at the, March, I had to cancel the whole tour. and I was number 10 in the world for world arena tours. So it was like Celine Dion, Elton John, Blake Shelton, Mark Anthony, Joe Coy. I was like, what?
Wow.
So it was, but I've been keeping myself, I'm not going to lie, I've been enjoying this time with my son. You know, when you work every week, you know, Wednesday to Monday, it's like you miss the little things. And I got to see my son grow this time. I actually got to see him grow a couple of inches in front of me. And, you know, I know we're in a bad shape, you know, but things are looking better. But to me, this was actually the best year of my life. Honestly, it really was. And the other thing is I wrote a book and it comes out in March.
Wait. Now you're a writer. Can't you leave something for us? I mean,
well, when are you going to write a book?
I mean, I don't know. I might have done something. I mean, writer, great bald guy filling up arenas. There's nothing left for me now. Nothing.
It took me 2 years to write it. It comes out March.
All right. I would like a signed copy.
And then on top of that, done. I'm mailing that out. I promise you.
Can I write the forward to the book?
Yeah,
do you need a guy to write the forward? I could write the forward.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Steve writes good forwards.
Chelsea Handler wrote the forward, but you know what?
Chelsea Handler.
Get rid of that and put Mig.
Scratch that. Save her for book 2.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to send you the book, BJ, and then I'm going to send Steve the audio, because I know Migs doesn't read.
You're right. Yeah.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah. I can't argue with you on that. I look forward to listening to your voice as you read the book to me.
Joe, that's the one.
You guys want to hear another good one?
Yeah.
Okay. Here's another announcement. When my second special came out, Coming In Hot on Netflix, Steven Spielberg watched it, and he brought me in for a meeting, and I walked out with a movie deal.
Are you serious?
Oh, no, I'm not joking. So Steven Spielberg is shooting a movie that I wrote with 3 other cats. It comes out, we start shooting May 3rd in Vancouver, Washington, and of course, Daly City in San Francisco.
Perfect.
The movie's called Easter Sunday.
Wow. Vancouver's just, a couple hours away. If you need me to play you in the movie, I'm more than happy to be there for you,
Done. Yeah. I do need a double.
Stunt guy.
Stunt double, yeah.
If you need to throw somebody in a dumpster, Steve's the guy.
I'm your guy.
Big congratulations, man. That movie deal, Steven Spielberg.
That's incredible, dude.
That's amazing.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you for being part of the KISW 50th celebration. You are such a great friend of ours, of the show, and it couldn't happen to a nicer human being. We got so much love for you, bro. So proud of you and so happy.
I'm so happy for you guys. Thank you so much for being a big part of my career and, of course, representing Seattle to the fullest. So I love you guys. Thank you.
Love you, Joe. Take care, man. Thank you.
Bye, you guys.
Great guy, that Joe Coy. And, just some of the great people we get to talk to today, as well as you at 206-421-ROCK. Text us at 77999. Chuck in Tulsa. Is that Tulsa, Oklahoma?
Yes, sir.
Wow, they're listening.
How do I got to follow Joe? Man, he's good.
He is. Joe is very, very good. But you know what, Chuck? I think...
You got to shave your head. That's what you got to do.
Okay. So,
I
listening
haven't shaved since February.
What you got for us, Chuck?
Hey, I remember a really fun time. Bob Spike and Campman did this thing when they first got into town where they did this meet every listener, and they'd hop in after their show, 10 o'clock in the morning, hop in their car, and they headed down to my business. We used to sell paper to print shops, and they came down, and we had just a great time. Campman was the best. What a good guy.
Yeah, I forgot about Campy. I mean, there's been so many great people part of basically Bob Rivers' radio world. He was just so good at finding people and putting them in front of that microphone, giving them the spotlight. And, man, there's some great days, man. I mean, KISW's had a lot of great history. And, some of that history has actually been preserved photographically. And the next person we're about to talk to will give us more info about that.
BJ, I am beyond excited. A, this is a great friend of mine, and B, she has had such a huge imprint on the local Seattle music scene, taking pictures of all of your favorite bands since pretty much day one. She's got a great book out called The Flannel Years as well. Please welcome, for our KSW 50-year anniversary special, Karen Mason Blair.
Hi, Karen.
Hey, happy flippin' 50th anniversary.
Karen, out of everybody we've talked to, your perspective is one that I'm really fascinated with, because as we're just moving at the normal pace of life, doing what we're doing, living this linear lifestyle, there's something about photography that captures us in ways that we didn't even know we were doing, and that's what you get to live and do with your art.
Thank you. Exactly. It's so fun, right?
You were there for, like Steve literally said, forever. for everything. I mean, so much of what Seattle is known for musically and for what KISW has done, you were there taking pictures of all of it. And I can't even imagine what that was like for somebody who this is what you wanted to do. And then you got to do it one of the most magical times anybody could be around music.
Yeah, it's totally dream come true. I mean, it's still mind blowing. And believe me, I'm humble and thankful and grateful. And I mean, I couldn't have timed that better if I tried.
Well, I mean, let's talk about one of the pictures, and thank you for sending some of the pictures as well, because I love the one of Pearl Jam from their very first show at the Off-Ramp, and it's just such a trip to see these guys on that small stage.
That's insane.
What was that experience like for you? I mean, yes, taking awesome pictures of that show, but also just being there for that show.
Jeff, called me 3 days before they played the Off-Ramp, and he's like, Karen, come out and see my new band. And I was like, okay. And I mean, we are still pretty sad about, Andrew, and so you walk in and, they're saying, oh, we got this new singer, and you're like, okay. And you're just sitting there going, oh, please, we don't want this guy to suck, because you don't want to say, hey, I don't like your new singer. And then when Eddie gets up there and starts singing, you're just like mind blown. First time you've ever heard it live, you ever heard, and you're just like, what the what? And it was mind blowing, totally. I
got to, first of all, tell everybody that if you haven't checked out your book, the final years, you need to get it, because not only are the pictures incredible, but it's the stories that I really enjoy, because you'll post like this iconic picture of somebody and then the backstory behind it, like the one that really stuck out, and I thought it was such a cool story, and it's very indicative of what the Seattle music scene seemed to be, of bands supporting each other. You have a great picture of Chris Cornell, and he's rocking a Pearl Jam shirt.
We're doing this photo session, and Chris Cornell, he's wearing this Pearl Jam shirt, and at this time Pearl Jam is not signed. Nobody knows who they are, and so I was like, hey man, you can't really wear that shirt because no one knows that band. And he's like, Karen, they're my friends and I'm going to help them out. And I was like, okay, you can wear it for a couple shots, a couple sessions. And so then he gets up in my windowsill and I'm like, what? He just gets up there and then he does the Jesus Christ pose. And I didn't even know there was a song called Jesus Christ Pose because they were recording it at the time. And I took 3 frames and that was it.
And we're talking to Karen Mason Blair and her book, The Flannel Years, and she did a lot of cool stuff here for The Rock.
Plus, yours truly is in the book as well, BJ.
I was shocked to see that.
Yeah.
I was so shocked.
Finally in a book.
I'm flipping through a book, and there you are, Steve. I'm like, well, I can't get rid of this guy.
I made it very easy. I bookmarked the page, and I'm like, BJ, check out the pictures.
Yeah, it was really like, this is a funny place for a book. Oh, hey, look,
who's that guy?
Who's that guy? Karen, it's like the names we're talking about, and of course, as part of KISW's history and a part of music history, as you said, these were just people you hung out with, and like you bring up Kurt Cobain. I know that you had a good friendship with him. What is it about him that people don't know?
What I like to say about Kurt is that he is, had the biggest heart. I mean, he was just a lover, and it's like, yeah, people, oh, he's so depressed. It's like, yeah, well, he got a lot of that depression out through his music, too. And it's like, that's why he writes the way he writes. And, and he was a 1 in a million. I'll tell you that. I mean, seriously, I miss him dearly. And I really, really got along with him. I ended up getting the cover of a Nirvana album that came out last year live at the Paramount, shout out to Seattle. And, it's my first Nirvana cover. And I often think, if Kurt would have been here, I would have had one sooner. Yeah. Because he's just that kind of person.
There's one more story I'd love for you to share, because I was paging through it, and there's a picture that you're focusing on the guys in Alice in Chains, and it was a cool story because it's not only a cool story about Alice in Chains, but also a cool story just about, we recently lost Eddie Van Halen, and obviously Alice in Chains got to open up for Van Halen on a tour, and you shared a story I never knew, and it just illustrates just how cool of a guy Eddie Van Halen was to other people and how generous he was.
Yeah, so they were on tour, and Eddie meets the band and is hanging out with them for a minute, and then they start the tour, and then Eddie sends out his assistant to go buy all of Alice in Chains' brand new Doc Marten boots, right? Because he said their shoes are so worn out, and then he gifts them to the band, and they're like, oh, no, man. Hey, don't worry about it. It's the look. Like, we don't even want your shoes. He's like, what? And so that's grunge, baby. See, and that's Hollywood and grunge colliding.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. Here he is. He's like, man, these poor guys, I want to help them out.
Do them a solid, our opening band. These poor guys, they can't afford new shoes.
Don't touch those shoes. You know how long it took them to look that worn? Don't even try to clean them.
Oh my gosh, we would take our leather jackets and run, like put them in the dirt and walk on them and run our cars over them because we didn't want anything looking new. So we had to just toughen everything up.
Well, we really appreciate you joining us as part of this 50-year anniversary. And again, check out the book, The Flannel Years, if you want to just it just triggers so many great memories as a fan of the Seattle music scene to see these pictures and these stories. And I appreciate you putting it out.
Oh, thank you. You guys, we owe you. We want to, I want to say thank you. Thank you for 50 amazing years and, being the soundtrack to my life.
Karen, thank you so much for being with us.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, that's an awesome book. And one final interview is somebody who you may not know, but instrumental in some of the greatest radio ever put on these 50 years of KISW.
BJ, very excited to have we're celebrating 50 years of KISW and talking to some of the greats that have been a part of this radio station. Not only has this guy been on the air, but he's also run things behind the scenes and also put out a book about it. And remember, we talked to him last time. It was about his book, I Killed Pink Floyd's Pig. Very excited to chat with the man that was in charge of KISW for several years, Bo Phillips.
Man, there's a lot to talk about. First of all right, you were the program director. How long were you involved with our fine station and when?
I came to KISW in 1978. It was a joke. It was playing, Joni Mitchell and Aerosmith and a jazz show. And I stayed as PD for 9 years and then was the general manager for 5.
Damn.
I don't know if you have an actual concrete answer to something like this, because it seemed like the relationship with the bands were incredible. I mean, think about some of the times that you guys had, not only with Pink Floyd, but also with AC/DC, also the relationship with the audience. But what do you think makes KISW so special that it has continued for so many years?
I think a lot of it is that. I think the station has a lot of credibility. It's always been very real, even when it made good moves and bad news. God knows we made mistakes. But it was always born from the streets. I mean, it was always something that reflected the attitude of the people. In the early days of KISW, radio stations were begging listeners to put their window sticker on their car. We didn't have one, but people would call us and request copies of our logo letterhead with the rock on it. And then they would cut it out and tape it to their car. And we thought, well, wait a minute here. They want window stickers. So we put out these iconic black, screaming, yellow and red rock stickers. And while every station was begging to give them away, we sold ours for $0.25. And there were cans with a slot in the top of all 7-Eleven stores where there was just a stack. And it was the honor system. You put $0.25 in the can and take a sticker. And right? And you know what should happen is that the stack of stickers gets swiped along with the can of quarters. But no, probably 75, 80% of the people paid for the sticker, and then we gave all the money to charity. I mean, it was just a total win.
What stands out to you? Because look, I mean, Bo, and obviously your book has to be, and the subject of your book has to be one of the big things that stand out. But is there something in your brain right now you go, oh yeah, that was pretty special?
Wow. Hard to do that. But I'll tell you one, and it's relevant to what you're doing now, celebrating your 50th, is that I wanted to do something for the 15th anniversary that had never been done. I reached out to some of the biggest artists in the world and said, we're celebrating our 15th anniversary and we want to honor you. I figured we could pat ourselves on the back for being a big radio station, but we'd get better cooperation from the artists if we turned around and acknowledged them and said we couldn't have gotten here without you. In one room at 175th and Aurora, it was known as Parker's at the time. It's about a 400, 500 seat club. And in one room was All of Heart, Journey.
Wow.
We had video from David Lee Roth, and we had Loverboy, who was hot at the time. The number one song in the country was called Tough Enough by the Fabulous Thunderbirds. They were the house band. Brian Adams came down, and all of them got on stage and played. The opening of the show was by an unknown comic named Sam Kinison, who was so rude. He was so rude that KISW's owner, within 10 seconds of the show starting, stood up with his wife and left the building.
Awesome.
Never came back. Then I got a call on my walkie-talkie saying, you're not going to believe who's here, but coming in the back entrance was Jimmy Page and his state. We awarded them all these goblets and crystals. It was shown on TV. We had the mayor's wife calling saying, "I've got to get 2 tickets to the show." You couldn't buy them. We only gave them away on the air. It was a memory for anybody who was there. It was just a glorious night.
And we're talking to Bo Phillips. Bo, you know, folks know about the Seattle Sound, and they understand how important KISW was to some of those bands like Nirvana, Soundgarden, Pearl Jam. But there were other bands outside of Seattle that you got to bring to a bigger audience. Are there ones where you could think, man, you know, we had an involvement of more people listening to bands that are amazing now, but at the time, a lot of people didn't know about them?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll tell you, probably the best is one day Steve Slayton and I were shopping at the record store in Fred Meyer at 185th and Aurora. And we're in the import section, and we see this thing called Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap by AC/DC. Now, at the time, we were playing Highway to Hell, which was huge. It was the biggest record in town. But between the time that they put that out and had Brian Johnson as the new lead singer, there was this 3-year void. And we saw this AC/DC record and bought it and brought it back to the station. So we started just banging Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap. And listeners are going crazy to find it, but we bought the only copy in town. And I got a call from Atlantic Records saying, "You're playing an album by our band that we don't even have." So I was making tape copies of Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap and sending them. So all of a sudden, the rights get bought in the U.S., and that album becomes massive. And we had already had a great relationship with AC/DC, but by bringing that record back, it really introduced the world to, you know, the great songs on that record.
Bo, you had such a great part of our history, and thank you for sharing some of that with us today, man.
Thanks for keeping the spirit alive, man.
Appreciate it, man.
Take care.
Well, it has been a hell of a morning and a hell of a start to our 50th anniversary celebration, which goes on all weekend long. It doesn't stop here. Ryan Castle is coming up next. We want to thank everybody who joined us today in celebrating.
Whoa, hold on. Whoa. We've got somebody coming in.
Whoa, there's a little.
You guys were trying so hard to wrap up your show so you can go have a life on a Friday, and then here we come, making you run late with a bottle of champagne, and now you got a drink in the morning time.
Is it Andre?
Here we go.
Or is it like?
It is not. It's almost as good as Andre.
It's Andrew. You got a little Andrew there?
There you go. There. And we're going to do this every few hours all day long. So,
all right.
6:20 this morning, I was in QFC buying champagne and water.
So here's the funny thing. I am absolutely mortified by the fact that I have to do my show in here today. I have not done my show in the studio in almost a year.
Did you take the COVID test before you came in?
Yeah, I got my temperature taken. You're supposed to use that thing rectally, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So
not
anymore.
And
BG uses it orally. It's fine, though. He doesn't
and you
know.
came in after me.
Yeah,
Great.
that's perfect.
So talk about jumping into the deep end of the pool. Like, you know, we've got like 30 guests today, and I haven't been in the studio forever. So what's the best thing I can do? Obviously, drink a bunch of champagne right before my show.
Yeah,
it's a great idea, right?
I think that's the best way to do it.
That's a great idea.
So we've eaten Vulas. Now we've had Pearl Jam cupcakes. Thank you, Pearl Jam, for sending us cupcakes, some trophy cupcakes.
Oh, yeah, so good.
Also, just to let everybody know, because we're trying to get it trending, it's always a special time on the social media. It's KISW50. If you have any stories, be sure to share them. Just hashtag KISW50.
I saw our pal Duff McKagan push that out. Thanks, brother. We'll have him on this afternoon.
That Duff's a good kid.
He's going to check it. He's all right guy. You know, I think he might have a future in this music thing.
I hope so. You know what I mean? He's got skills. I hope he makes it.
What a bunch of amazing conversations you guys had this morning.
It's been a lot of fun, man.
I should take the mask off because I probably sound like hell.
No, actually, it's better with
worse. Even one text said, how hard was it to say goodbye to some of the guests that you had on, because it looked like they had some great stories they just wanted to share. It was really tough, man. But we wanted to talk to the listeners as well. Thanks to everyone who called in. Our phone lines were packed. We couldn't even get to everybody.
It's going to be, it already has been for amazing hours. It's going to continue to be a great day.
Oh, it surely
There'll
is.
be a bit of a lull between 10 and 2, and then we'll be right back at it at 2 o'clock.
Oh, you're like the ginger between sushi.
Yeah. That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
And you are a ginger.
Thank you. See, it's perfect. Yeah. That's such a wonderful analogy. We've never really put that together before, but you're right.
There's been so much love.
My wife loves the ginger.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good. Perfect.
Previous to this break, there was really so much love. Listen, I want to say one thing since you losers are here.
Yeah, now we can't get in trouble for going late.
No, not at all.
Good.
So you guys brought the champagne, but I'm going to say this because, first of all, Hair Club, you know that after the beatings I have given you over my career, there's not enough time for me to actually reset and balance that out. But this doesn't happen. This 50th anniversary doesn't happen if you and Castle don't go, this is an amazing thing. There's no way we are going to, because not every company would do this. Not every company has bosses like you two that go, yeah, we got to push pencils. We got to crunch numbers. We got to do whatever. But you guys have always been about the art. You've always been about the music. And I can't think of two better people to be at a station like this for their 50th, and you two. Lots of love for what you've done and all the work you've done behind the scenes to make this a special day.
But to be honest with you, for this particular event that we're doing, we started 2 years ago on this. Danny was a massive part of this. Taryn Daly was a massive part of this.
She's awesome.
Taz, who does all the creative. I mean, we had a team working on this stuff, and Kathy Faulkner, who was like our
love
archivist.
Kathy,
Jason as well.
We have been working on this for a long time, but to see all of this happen and to feel the love from the audience and the previous people who used to work here, it's amazing. Last night, I had the opportunity to be on a Zoom call that Bo, who you just spoke to, put together with a lot of the alumni from the 70s and 80s.
That's cool.
And it was, and Hart was on as well.
Wow.
So it was cool hearing all of these great old stories, but they said the same thing. Thank you to this era, this group of people who continue to carry the torch for this radio station. Because you're right, and you've said it so many times. And Steve, we grew up in New York. You won't find a rock station there. Yeah. You grew up in Boston. Yeah. You won't find a rock station there. You grew up in Spokane.
Everett, Washington. Thank you. I grew up in a rock station there.
But it's a testament to this city, and it's a testament to the rockaholics of many generations that this is still like happening, and it's just a great feeling.
And to your point, BJ, about being a pain in the ass, you're right. And, I have always said that the level of BS you're willing to tolerate from a subordinate is directly related to their level of productivity. Right. And let me tell you, people, these guys produce a lot.
Not sure. Well done. Yeah, I'm not sure what we've done.
Is that nice? I'm not smart enough to understand what was just said.
I feel like
we were insulted, but in a complimentary
say you're
way.
welcome. It was
thank
a compliment.
you.
Thank you for the champagne.
Yeah.
So we toast the KISW Rockaholics. We toast BJ and Mig's show. We toast everybody in our past and everybody in our future. To all of y'all.
Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Is that alcoholic or is it like that?
Oh, no, that's alcoholic.
It's the real deal.
It's cool. I got a bottle of Thunderbird in my desk, too. So.
Nice. Oh, man, so much love flowing today, and it doesn't end with our show. Ryan Castle's got a lot of great stuff planned for you. Of course, the men's room. Taryn also. This is an entire weekend, by the way. So the celebration is going on. And like those guys said, if not for you rockaholics, it does not happen. The passion of the fans of this station, one of the best places I've ever worked in my career. This is what I dreamed of as a 15-year-old, to be at a station just like this.
It's cool because so many listeners have said how much they appreciate that we let them into our worlds and our lives. But I mean, the feeling is so very mutual because whatever, for me, I know, this station's the reason why I have so many of my best friends are from this station. Listeners as well. And I met my wife because of this station. I have a kid now thanks to meeting my wife and because of this station. Like, all these great things have happened. I got to play drums with Stone Temple Pilots because of this radio station.
And we'll definitely talk about that today, too, because I'm going to talk to one of the guys that helped set that up.
Yeah, man. So many awesome things have happened, and it's cool to know, good and bad, the struggles that we've been through on the air, we've related to the audience, and in turn, they've related with us. I can't show enough appreciation for our audience for just being there with us along the way as well.
Speaking of 3-year-olds, I got this a few minutes ago. I hope it's loud enough here.
Oh, he's working equipment. This could be a problem.
Happy birthday, KISW.
Wait, is that the man? Is that I haven't heard the little man.
Was that Miles Montgomery last night after a couple of drinks?
We had a couple after the show.
It's really hard to tell who that might be. So thank you all, and it continues to roll on. Ryan Castle is up next. He's keeping the celebration going, and of course we're doing it all weekend. It's KISW's 50th anniversary weekend, baby.
Be BJ and Migs play of the day.
He's the voice of your Seattle Mariners. Welcome to the show, Rick Riz.
This radio station has been doing rock in Seattle for 50 years, and thank you for being here with us celebrating.
Thank goodness you became a rock station in 1971. You started in 1950 as a classical station, so we could be celebrating 71 years of radio.
Yeah.
You're talking about Beethoven and Bach instead of Bach and Turner Overdrive, you know?
That would be weird saying, like, hey, coming up next, Beethoven.
BJ and Migs, mornings on The Rock, 99.9 KISW.
Wenatchee is gorgeous in the spring with its lush green rolling hills, abundant wildflowers everywhere, and the views of the Columbia River. The local food scene offers an abundant selection of authentic international cuisines featuring the unique farm-fresh ingredients of the region. Wenatchee is also home to award-winning wines, handcrafted hard ciders, and a talented handful of local brewers producing fine craft beers. Visit Wenatchee, the heart of Washington State.
New on Curiosity Stream. With superior armies comes superior weapons. How has innovation mechanized the battlefield? From bullets to battleships and everything in between. It's machinery of warfare. Plus, from the gross to the gourmet. See how that in-flight meal lands on your tray table. On secrets of your airline food. It's all on Curiosity Stream. Annual plans are $20, just $1.67 a month. Visit curiositystream.com.